And we are back with the next week of our Poke Battles. We have Zeusymon, aka the Olympus Mons-trocities, versus Anaxiamander, aka Hadesmon. So, gonna go ahead and kick this one off here. Zeusymon has been doing well so far in the tournament. So has Hadesmon, and Hadesmon leading off with the Hippopotas and the Pineco on the side of Zeusymon getting flinched immediately from the ability out of Rock Slide with Hippopotas. So that is actually pretty huge because Rock Slide breaking the berry juice on the Pineco. However, we can see here that the second Rock Slide missing, and that's actually really important because Rock Slide does not have 100% accuracy, but Hippopotas is faster. So there's the next Rock Slide. Let's see if we get a flinch. No flinch. So the second round of spikes coming out from Pineco, and Pineco taking that last Rock Slide and going down. Hippopotas has the ability to, go ahead and switch out to another Mon here. But with this setup, the Hadesmon is going to need to try and get rid of some of these hazards. And looking at Hadesmon's team, he does have Volibee sitting back there, and Volibee is a Pokemon that can learn Defog. He also has Shelter, who, while it is a Shell Smasher, can be a spinner. Now, here comes Porygon, and Porygon with the download, it's going to have the higher ability, so it's going to get the increased special attack there over the Hippopotas, and the Earthquake is very strong stab, but Ice Beam is also quite strong here. We see that Hippopotas does not have Berry Juice on him, so with that, he's going to be carrying something probably more like an Eviolite to try and survive, but at this point, I think we're going to see Hadesmon go ahead and pull out his Hippopotas, predicting maybe we're going to see another Ice Beam, or just in general a special move. So the Ice Beam itself is pretty good against Pokemon like Volibee, being flying. It also is okay against Ferroseed in that he's grass. Ferroseed is more of a physically defensive mon. But, in the case of Duskull, Duskull could be a clever swap here just because he's normal. But we do see a recover, and uh, it looks like Hadesmon was just kind of willing to let his Hippopotas go down here for a reset. However, Olympus Mons, on the other hand, thought differently. So he does go with the Ferroseed, and there's the Tri Attack. Normal into the Steel is not going to do well. However, the Ice Beam here is still pretty good. Yeah, so there's the Ice Beam, 27% damage. Going ahead and tossing the Leech Seed out there. I love this move here from Hadesmon. This is the type of thing that he needs in order to force the swap. Yeah, there's the swap. And Darumaka, being a potential Mon that can carry fighting moves. Oh, and the knockoff out of the Ferroseed, pulling the Choice Scarf off of the Darumaka. Huge there, because Darumaka depends on that. So he's going to go ahead and swap to the Hippopotas, kick off the Sandstream. Darumaka kicking a superpower off, which will cripple his ability to do more damage there. But this is, I think, what he wanted, because now Hadesmon can freely press Defog. Now, the thing about Defog is it's going to get rid of the Stealth Rocks on both sides of the battlefield. So his Hippopotas, who placed those rocks, is now dead. Not going to be able to re-put anything there. And there's the U-turn from Darumaka. Now, I'm not sure if Olympus Monstrosity is on top of the fact that he's going to be getting defogged here. It's most likely what's coming. So let's see what he does. I think if it were me, I might swap back to the Porygon. He goes with the Chinchou, though, as the electric Pokemon. Oh, and a Brave Bird out of the Volibee. Not sure I like that there. It's possible that he was thinking about... he doesn't want to get rid of his own Stealth Rocks, but with 2 layers of spikes and a layer of Stealth Rocks, I'm not sure I like that. Here's Ferroseed back going to get hit hard by those 2 layers of spikes. The Volt Switch won't do much, but it's going to give Zeusymon, aka Olympus Mons-trocities, the ability to go ahead and get a little bit more momentum back out, maybe swap back to the Darumaka to put some pressure on the Ferroseed. And it looks like he's going to do exactly that. Now, the Darumaka doesn't have a scarf anymore, but I guarantee you that Ferroseed is not going to be faster than that thing. So let's see if Hadesmon decides that he wants to swap it out. But just keep in mind, again, that we've got rocks and 2 layers of spikes. Yeah, so Ponyta almost at half health, and there's the superpower hitting quite hard. And I don't think we're going to see Zeusymon swap out this Darumaka again. It won't be able to survive another round of rocks. And there's Morning Sun. In the sandstorm, it is not good. So that is why it only healed for a little bit there. But Darumaka able to swap out. Darumaka is essentially dead. So in this case, he's going to need Hadesmon to provide the defog there if he's going to put Darumaka back out. Oh, and the big wild charge! Let's see the recoil on it. Okay, it takes about 23% damage on the recoil. Big swing there. Being able to take out the Tentacle. Tentacle is a big sweeper with a life orb usually. So now, with no Tentacle, you've got, and Tentacle, by the way, is a potential spinner, I think. So now he goes back to the Chinchou, a water Pokemon, who, in this case, is probably your best bet against Ponyta. I like this swap in. Now, it's really good against fire moves because it has that water subtyping. But the other thing about Chinchou is it has Volt Absorb. So if Hadesmon decides to press Wild Charge into this Chinchou, it will just straight up absorb it and heal up. So that is what I think Olympus Mons-trocities is hoping here, is that maybe he'll send another Wild Charge, but he doesn't, and that's a big swing there too because of all of the different hazards that Zeusymon has out there, and I believe the Porygon or the Ponyta is quite low. Back to the Porygon though, and this is his big kind of saving grace, right? It's got Recover, it's got the Sustain, it's got a little bit of power to be able to break through this substitute here of the Duskull. But Duskull is now set up in a pretty good spot. It cannot Pain Split the Porygon, though. I think that's going to be big here. And Will-O-Wisp is not great either against the Pokemon that is more of a special attacker. It will put a little bit of pressure on it, but I don't think that's going to be enough pressure to really do too much. And the Ice Beam hitting, oh, the Pain Split does hit the Porygon. Huge there. And Porygon now all of a sudden lower health, and it's going to have to just sit here and recover. And we're going to see another Pain Split here and an Ice Beam to kill the substitute. So we're going to go back and forth here for a little bit, I think. And unless Zeusymon decides to pull the Porygon right here and go into the Chinchou to try and absorb the Ice Beam, but that is still pretty risky. I mean, Olympus Mons-trocities is in a little bit of trouble here. I think you got to leave your Porygon out, but even then, like, you're really not in a great spot here because every turn that you press Recover, Hadesmon is going to be able to get a free substitute out of it. So this kind of turns into a PP battle of sorts. There's the substitute back, and it looks like Hadesmon is gaining more life off the Pain Split than what Zeusymon is able to do there off of the additional Ice Beam. And there's the Pain Split, taking the Archon down. This is the Pokemon he really needs to break through this Duskull. And there's the knockoff, but the substitute... Oh, and a huge Will-O-Wisp on the Archon! Massive, and he has Defeatus. Right, there's the Berry Juice taking him back up to the above 50% HP. That is really big for Archon with his ability Defeatus. And the knockoff comes back and gets rid of the Eviolite, but we have the substitute here and the burn. So with this, Hadesmon can now freely press Pain Split and potentially drop the Archon below 50% HP, triggering the Defeatist. It's already burned, lowering its attack, which is huge here. So if you're Hadesmon, I think you're pretty happy with this exchange so far, and you really just want to keep this stuff clean here, and see if you can bounce this out. But I think if you're Zusimon, you're in really big trouble. So he decides to go with the U-turn there into the Chinchu. The Chinchu will take some damage and then get pain split down. And this is what you want if you're Hadesmon. You are going to get free swaps into you. And even if you press Will-O-Wisp here, he decides to go with Shadow Sneak, which I don't really like there. There's the Heal Bell out of the Chinchu, which is pretty clever. I like that. And it was just removing burns, though, so that is something that is going to be allow the Archon to do something. But the Will-O-Wisp on the predict, massive there from Hadesmon, putting the burn into the Archon. Will he be able to kill it? No, the knockoff does not kill it, and he doesn't have enough to substitute, but the burn will take it to 53%. This Archon is almost at that point of defeatist, and if you're Hadesmon, you love this. Like, yeah, you're probably going to lose your Duskull here, but in this scenario, I think you're ahead of the board in most of these cases. So your burn is going to be huge, and you may have okay, Shelter coming in. This is risky here. This is risky. The knockoff hitting the Shelter, getting rid of the Eviolite. So now you're kind of at risk if you want to shell smash. Archon is below 50%. But shell smashing here feels pretty dangerous. So if it were me, I'm probably just pressing the ice move and seeing what happens. This is kind of a tough decision here for Hadesmon. Let's see what he decides to do. There's the swap into the Porygon. We'll see if he pressed the shell smash. He didn't. He decided to go with the Icicle Spear, and I like that decision. It's more of the safe play. And there is the shell smash. Way too risky here. This Porygon is probably just going to kill it, but it presses the recover. Great decision by Hadesmon to see that there is a potential recover coming, but this is where a Thunderbolt is probably going to come down and kill this thing. Yeah, there's the Thunderbolt. Porygon is still a recover Mon, so Hadesmon really needs to send something out that can revenge kill, and Volibbee's not really the Pokemon that I would choose as my revenge killer here. Zusimon can't really afford to swap here because if he the defog never came, right? So I don't think you can afford to swap if you're Olympus Monstrosities. Yeah, there's the Brave Bird going ahead and taking down Volibee, taking very little damage off of the recoil there, and Chinchu coming back out to be able to outspeed this Volibee. Volibee is not in a position to be able to swap back out with the rocks out there. So you're just going to have to let him die. And the Ice Beam taking down the flying Pokemon. We're now 3-on-3, and Duskull is already quite low. This is a rough situation for Hadesmon. You kind of had a great spot there, but you press Shell Smash on the Shelter, and I just don't think that was the move. It was extremely risky. And then you pressed Rock Blast, which again isn't stab. So just really tough breaks there. And here comes Pharisee dying with all of those hazards out there. Duskull does have enough HP. Let's see if the Shadow Sneak is enough to kill here. I really don't think it will be, even though it is stab. Um, we'll go ahead and see what he does. Oh, and it does kill! This is actually massive here because Darumaka is already pretty much dead to the Stealth Rocks. If Archon comes out here, it's going to take more damage from the rocks, and it is also burned, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so there's the Stealth Rocks. Go ahead and press Shadow Sneak here. You're going to do a little bit of... Oh my god, this game is coming down to the wire, but I think Hadesmon potentially could win it if it can survive the hazards when it sends out the Ponyta. But Darumaka comes in and just... Both of these Pokemon are going to go down! There goes My Little Pony, but Darumaka didn't take damage from the rocks, and it survives incredibly. There is game one. Just unbelievable game one. Love it. Wow. Let's go all the way down to the bottom, and we see that Darumaka did not get stones driven into him. So very interesting there. Not really sure what happened there. Why the Darumaka did not get hit with the stealth rocks there, but very interesting. Sure, we'll figure it out afterward. All right, going into game two, I think that Zusimon, aka Olympus Mons-trocities, stole that one a little bit. Whereas I'm not really sure what happened there with the stealth rocks in the Darumaka. Maybe it got hit and I just missed it in the chat window. But this time, it looks like Hadesmon is going to decide to lead with the Volibee that carries Bravebird, which is quite good against the bug. So there's the hit. It's going to have a sturdy proc. The berry juice. Oh, and a reflect coming out of the Pineco. I do like this. Reflect, a pretty solid move to kind of block off this Volibee's Bravebird. The Bravebird probably won't kill anymore. The knockoff going kind of a bad move there because you already saw the berry juice get procced. You probably just wanted to hit Bravebird again, so maybe not the best choice of knockoff there. And just to call it out, you are now, and there's a defog. So instead of waiting for him to put out some of the spikes, you just went ahead and defogged. Maybe you wanted him to put another layer of spikes, and there's the Brave Bird taking him down. I probably would have Brave Birded on the previous turn, but now you've got one layer of spikes and no Stealth Rocks out. So I think you feel pretty good about this exchange. But the Archon now coming out, this Pokemon, if he's carrying rock moves, can be quite good against Volibee. So here comes Hippopotas, and the rock typing of Archon will keep it from getting hit by the Sandstorm, and Head Smash hitting quite hard even against the ground Pokemon. And U-turn to get a little bit momentum back, because I think we're probably going to see a Stealth Rock here. And there's the Stealth Rock. And Stealth Rock was big for Hadesmon last game, so really important that he gets that out there. And I'm not sure I like this swap. You've got an Ice Beam, but Shelter is not a very tanky mon even with Eviolite on him. So there's a Shell Smash, and he's just going to get Thunderbolted immediately, if I had to guess, by Zusimon. Yep, there's the Thunderbolt taking him down. A little bit too telegraphed of a play there for my liking if I were Hadesmon. So maybe not something you want to do there, especially after putting a Sandstorm out there on a Pokemon that's already been hit once. So not the best idea there, but here comes Ponyta, and Ponyta is going to be okay against Porygon. Again, the Morning Sun's not going to do great. Recover is not affected by the Sandstorm on the side of Porygon. We may see some Flare Blitzing here from the Ponyta or something to use that stab fire. But on the whole, I don't really think that that you have a great swap here. And a Will-O-Wisp just straight up missing the Chinchou. That's rough. Losing the turn on the Ponyta and sending out the Ferroseed. The Ice Beam was okay. Scald won't be great, but Scald has that burn chance, which would be okay. I think we may see a Leech Seed here. Go ahead and land on the... Nope, we see a knockoff into the Tentacruel. And Tentacruel, I don't think is necessarily the best mon against... And there is the Rapid Spin, so he did carry it with him. And it just got one shot last time, so it really didn't have a chance to use it there. But love seeing Liquid Ooze out of the Tentacool. Go ahead and send some of that damage back off the Leech Seed. And the knockoff, big there, but Flash Cannon, Stab Steel, there's the Leech Seed. Go ahead and take the Tentacool down. Pretty nice exchange, honestly, for Hadesmon. Now, the Tentacool did get to knock off the Eviolite off the Ferroseed, which will make it less tanky. But it's already a pretty tanky mon to begin with. But he leaves it out to get superpowered by the Darumaka, and the Darumaka carries Choice Scarf, so he's gonna most likely get outsped across the board here. But yeah, you got to go with Duskull. Great decision here, seeing that he was maybe Choice Scarf from the first round. And this is where you get an absolute free sub, so let's make sure he does that. He decides to Will-O-Wisp, which... While I do love the free sub, this is the one mon that if Zusimon swapped into, that's what you wanted. because the burn will. And just a really crazy change here with the burn into that Archon, just really locking down its ability to deal heavy damage. But the pain split coming back here to really even it out and push the Archon sub 50. And Zeusymon had to go ahead and U-turn there. Not not in a really good position to do otherwise. Um, really with the burn and dropping sub 50, you're in a really rough spot to be able to pressure with this Archon. So if you can get back to the Chinchu and Heal Bell, yeah, so here comes the Chinchu, and good sight by Hadesmon to be able to predict that with the free sub. But the pain split here, reducing the Chinchu's HP down, raising Hadesmon above it, and Volt Switch is enough to take the sub. Let's see if we see a Will-O-Wisp here. He goes to Darumaka. The Will-O-Wisp will not work against the fire Pokemon. Great swap there from Lucimon. Now, he is Choice Scarfed, but he didn't press Superpower, so he can go ahead and freely swap to a different move here. And that would be a good decision. He presses U-turn. Bug move's not great into the Ghost, but he is just kind of chipping down this Duskull. Not doing enough, though, to put it below sub. And here comes Archon. Archon is, again, below the ability to utilize his full attack, and there is another Will-O-Wisp, massive into the physical Pokemon in Archon. So at this point, if you are Hadesmon, you don't have enough HP to sub. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and swap to the Hippopotas, get the Sandstream going. It looks like Zeusymon is not willing to swap out the Archon, at least at this point. With the Sandstream going, that won't affect the Archon, so the Hippopotas may be positioning itself to come out here and press Stealth Rock again. Tentacool is gone, so no Rapid Spinner on the side of Zeusymon. And I like this move because if you can put Stealth Rocks out there, then all of this U-turning and Volt Switching and all that stuff is a lot less good. Oh, and a very powerful Acrobatics doing enough damage without the item attached to take down the Hippopotas. We hadn't seen him use the Acrobatics yet. Stab flying with no item, doing enough damage through Defeatist and the burn. I love it. So Volibee coming back out here, maybe to just take a little bit of damage here. There's no more Stealth Rock capability, and the critical head smash, massive there, dealing damage back to the Volibee. That is just a huge way to have your Mon do some big damage right before it goes down. The crit, the super effective move into the flyer, really, really big there. And Porygon coming out, and Porygon's is going to be set up here to sweep. So let's see a Thunderbolt. That's definitely what's coming. Hadesmon really doesn't have a good option here. Thunderbolt's just going to hit it. And yeah, hit it quite hard, dealing more than half HP. Sandstorm is still out there, so your Morning Sun is not going to operate at full potential. Now, you're probably faster than Porygon with your Ponyta, so you could press Morning Sun to gain maybe 20% HP, but it's not going to be enough. And here comes the Morning Sun, healing for 23% HP. Chinchu has Volt Absorb, so the Water Electric typing is perfect to prevent this Ponyta from dealing much damage. And we may just see him go straight into the Morning Sun again, but this Chinchu has Scald, which is going to be super effective against the Ponyta, and Ponyta is not going to do great against some of those special moves, and it is carrying Eviolite, so it may be able to survive a hit, but it's not going to be able to survive two, so we might just go ahead and see another Morning Sun just to see how badly the Scald hits you. Yeah, really tough situation for Hadesmon here to be able to come back. We'll see what he has up his sleeve, and he goes with the overheat and the massive damage. I love the decision there to overheat. And the berry juice, oh, big heals, big damage back on the Scald. And Volibee comes back out, Volibee will not be able to be faster than this Chinchu. Yep, there's the Ice Beam taking out the Volibee. Duskull's going to come back out here, sub 25% HP. It won't take damage there from the rocks. However, it's not going to last long. There's the Stab Scald. And Zeusymon taking it down. Great games, great battle, 2-0.